You know what? I really store information and like a squirrel, like bring it out when necessary.
Bring it back.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Off to Broadway, the podcast where we deep dive into anything and everything musical theater. I'm Tara.
I'm Stefania.
And in today's episode, it's time for the 2024-2025 New York season preview. I don't know why we always call it the New York season preview when it's definitely just the Broadway season preview.
It is just the Broadway season preview. It is just the Broadway season preview.
But I'm not going to change the name now, so here we are with the New York season preview.
That's just what we call it, okay?
Was there ever a time that we did like No, there wouldn't have been surrounding area because we literally... Okay, so sorry to everybody who's listened to us for the last however many times we've done a season preview, but...
This is very Broadway-centric of us.
Preview. Yeah.
I know. This is very Broadway-centric of us. Yeah, this is kind of the first time of many times, but the first time of the year that we kind of look forward to what's coming up in this Broadway season, kind of that ends up culminating at the end of April when the final shows open, and then the Tony Awards at the beginning of June. So the season is starting to take shape. I have, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 confirmed new musicals for this season, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 confirmed revivals. And I'm sure there will be more because April is still looking a little thin.
Well, also last year, I believe it was 14 in total new musicals, I believe. Less revivals last year than this season is shaping up to be. But yeah, also just for our sake, because things at this time of year keep getting announced left, right, and center, we are going to date stamp this episode. We are recording on September 16th. So this is what the current Broadway season, musicals only, as always, looks like right now. So... Steph, do you want to start us like in order here?
I will.
Opening date.
Okay, so let's start with original musicals. Mm-hmm. Or should we just start like the first thing that opened for this season?
No, I feel like it's too hard if we flip-flop. So let's go like with original, then revival.
Original. Okay, so the first original musical for this upcoming season has not opened yet, but it is A Wonderful World, the Louis Armstrong jukebox musical starring James Monroe Iglehart. Opening November 11th.
I would like to announce that on our season preview last year, I had this as that whole like list of shows that were potential. Because I think it played in Chicago.
Some of these I put the out of town and some I didn't. So yes, it was in Chicago in 2023. It's also had productions in Miami in 2021 and New Orleans in 2023. So they've been working on it. James Monroe Iglehart playing Louis Armstrong, but he's also co-directing with Christina Sajou, which is really fun and interesting.
Yes. I think this is a fun one. I also think this kind of lends itself into the like bio jukebox category, which now that A Beautiful Noise is closed, Broadway needs another bio jukebox musical on the scene. So this will fill that slot as well. We love James Monroe Iglehart, so I think this is really fun casting for him, a good project for him. I'm sure the music will be amazing. I'm hoping we get some like brass in the orchestra for this, which I think is really exciting. And I had heard good things from the out of town, so I think this is a fun one to kind of kick off the fall new musical season.
Yeah, I agree. It is, I feel, a little bit late for the first new musical to be opening, but yeah, there's not too many jukebox so far. Just this one and one other, and the other one is quite different. So I do think this one has the opportunity to really stand out.
Yeah. Okay.
Confirmed. We'll talk about unconfirmed later.
Yeah. Okay, what's next?
The next one opening the next day, and this opening has actually been delayed, but maybe happy ending, opening November 12th. Directed by Michael Arden, starring Helen J. Shen and Darren Criss, at the Belasco Theater.
This one I'm sad that it delayed because this was on our list of potentials to see when we're in New York, which when this episode is released,
we'll be back.
Have already been in New York. But yeah, I was like kind of upset to hear that there was delays in this. We had heard online that there was like budget money kind of issues with this production, producers wise, right?
The official word was that there was a supply chain issue with the set.
Right.
But then, yes, I did hear rumblings elsewhere that it was due to financial backing that did end up getting resolved. So who knows what the truth is? What we know that they have publicly said is that they could not get the set in time, which makes me think it's going to be something like elaborate. So I'm excited. Not elaborate, but maybe like technologically elaborate. So
yeah.
Makes me excited to kind of know what that is. But yeah, I'm curious.
Well, so the concept of this musical is that it's kind of like robots, right? There's like robots involved in this. It takes place in like Seoul, Korea. It's in the not too distant future, I'm reading now, where two obsolete helper bots are living in an isolated existence in a robots-only housing complex on the edge of the city. The two discover each other in the hall. They have a surprising connection that challenges what they believe is possible for themselves, relationships, and love. And I will say, in 2020, pre-COVID, this had a I don't know if it was an out of town or just a production at Alliance Theater. So Alliance, which I think I talked about last year, Alliance is one of those theater companies that often things do transfer to Broadway. It just like takes some time. I've heard a little snippets here and there of like what we will be hearing when this show does hit Broadway. It sounds good to me. This is a Broadway debut for Helen. She's quite young. I think she only graduated like a couple years ago. From the University of Michigan, which is obviously where Darren Criss went and made his like, I don't know, like superstardom with all of his Star Kids stuff. So I don't know. I think this is fun casting and an interesting like futuristic take on a musical. I'm again sad that like we won't be able to.
The timing didn't
work out for us because this definitely was on a list of a show that I would be interested. We love Michael Arden, so yes. It would have been like interesting to see this project. But
and another kind of interesting thing about this, and which seems unique to me about this show, is that it is originally a Korean show and it has been translated from Korean to English. So it has had multiple productions in Korea. On the Wikipedia, it's like third Korean revival, so it really seems to be popular there. It has won like Seoul revival. It's been in Korea and it's been in Japan, so those seem to be like, and 2021 was in China, so it really seems to have hit the Asian market, and in terms of it was in Atlanta and now it's coming to Broadway, hitting the English market here. So I think that's super interesting in terms of like a place that we don't usually see theater exports from.
And also to touch on that, for anybody that's going to come at the whole situation and be like, why is Darren Criss in this? Darren Criss has Asian, like, heritage. So
I mean, famously Filipino as the, American Crime Story.
Yes.
Famously half Filipino.
So for a show that had all of these productions in, like, Korea and Japan, I think it is nice to, like, correctly, like,
have, like, an Asian cast.
Represent, yeah. So, yeah. Okay. What's next? We're just going to cycle through these.
We're going. The next one, a West End transfer, opening November 14th. That's a really big week. Post-election, we're really going November 11th, November 12th, November 14th. The next one's like November 19th. Like, it's really going hard. The next one, a West End transfer, Tammy Faye. Music by Elton John, lyrics by Jake Shears of the Scissor Sisters. We've got a cast. We've got Katie Braben. We've got Christian Borle. We've got Michael Cerveris. And it's going to reopen the Palace Theater. I know Ben Platt reopened the Palace Theater, but this is truly reopening the Palace Theater.
But who do we not have in this cast?
Who do we not have? Well, scandalously, we don't have Andrew Rannells because they love to announce a cast before the contracts are signed.
Where was that? What was that? The Oscars?
No, I think
Grammys?
It was later.
The Golden Globes? The Tonys?
No, that's
the Tonys.
Too early.
It was the Tonys. It was the Tonys.
It was the Tonys. He was just like, I'm actually not doing Tammy Faye anymore. And then he's like, oh, I don't know, his perfect Andrew Rannells way. Also
famously, the Tammy Faye musical, if you flash back to, I think, a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, Elton John said that this was in better shape than The Devil Wears Prada, and here we are with this opening on Broadway before The Devil Wears Prada. However, The Devil Wears Prada is having a run in the West End I believe, this summer.
Yeah.
So sorry, not this summer. We're in summer right now. This fall. Next.
Starring Vanessa. What's her last name?
Is it Williams? Am I making that
Vanessa
up?
Williams. Starring Vanessa Williams. Starring Vanessa Williams. Yes, I don't know. I had a brain fart there. Yeah, this is interesting, especially because there was a movie recently about Tammy Faye, and so it is interesting to you get these multiple pieces of media kind of touching on the same story being released around the same time, so people have familiarity with the story of Tammy Faye from the movie, and maybe you're coming into it with different preconceived notions or even name recognition that they might not have had 5 years ago. Like, I didn't know who Tammy Faye was before the movie came out. I still really don't, because I didn't see the movie, but I recognize the name, and that, like, hooks me in a way that maybe 5 years ago I wouldn't really know anything about this.
As we know, as an Andrew Garfield fan, or should I say, like, stan, I've seen this movie. I actually thought this movie was very good. Jessica Chastain is very good in it.
She won an Oscar.
She did win an Oscar, but I'm also just like, I don't really care to see this as a musical. And I think we thought that something more exciting was going to reopen the Palace, but yeah.
This was the rumor for a while, so...
I don't know what I thought. Maybe it was a revival that I thought was going to open the Palace.
I really thought my vision was Once Upon a One More Time for the Palace.
Oh, right.
But that was, the timing didn't work. Nothing worked out.
Nothing worked.
Nothing worked.
I'm curious to know, like, who the demo is for this show. I just don't see tourists being like, gotta see the Tammy Faye musical. But maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe. We will see. It does seem to be maybe more of a UK thing for some reason. Just the way that their humor lies. I just think it might be a better fit for the UK where it's already run than it will be for New York. So
we'll talk about another show that maybe will be better in the UK than it's New York. Actually, this seems to happen a lot. So
No. There is very different sensibilities in the UK and here for many reasons. Some of which are just like ticket pricing or just the sensibility of the audience. You're in the UK because tickets are not as crazy for most things. Some things they are kind of crazy, but because the ticket pricing is not as crazy there, you're willing to extend more of a benefit of the doubt to shows than you are seeing something in New York where you've spent so much on a ticket, and then if it doesn't live up to what your expectations, that feeling of disappointment is so much more because you've spent so much more versus, a more affordable ticket. I don't know. That's a working theory.
I'm trying to find a review headline from the UK, but all that's here is Andrew Reynolds' contract negotiations. So I reviews. Well, it was 2022, so there's been like a little bit of time in between as well. I don't know. It's just like
Here's a headline. Tammy Faye review. New Elton John score doesn't yet live up to a terrifically entertaining production. So, that's interesting. That's from Variety.
I just feel like the Devil Wears Prada score versus this are probably wildly different, and to think that he was kind of working on these at the same time is just a little crazy to me.
Well, different lyricists. So Jake Shear's on this one, and who's doing Devil Wears Prada?
Right.
Chantal?
Is it?
I think it is.
I'll say for the second week in a row, I swear we do research before we come on here.
No, we do, but there's still a lot.
It is Shannon Taub. You're right. Yeah, and the book by Kate Weatherhead. That was the one that I was like, I think it's Kate
Weatherhead.
I
like her too.
But yeah,
she's fine.
But we did read that Out of Town was like bad. So
yeah, no, I know. The Guardian, Tammy Faye. A new musical review, Elton John's hymn to biblical kitsch. Yeah, it does seem kitschy. That's kind of maybe the word. Very kitschy.
Well, it's like a lot of like church... Is it going to give Book of Mormon?
Oh, I don't think so.
Is it going to give like... Anytime I think of this musical, all I think of is Andrew Rannells singing like Love Thy Neighbor from the Prom movie. And that is what I think the entire vibe of the Tammy Faye musical is.
You think? Okay. One more headline. The New York Post headline. We're opening it up. Elton John's lacking Tammy Faye musical needs a prayer. So all of these reviews use the same picture, so I've just seen the same picture of them, these ugly sweaters, like 5 different times.
Okay.
Mixed reviews, let's say, but I'm curious to see what they've changed, what they've worked on since coming over. You know, Elton John has had success, like every musical that that has been on Broadway that he's written, for the most part, I think, like, it has been pretty strong. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
We shall see.
What's next?
Okay, the next one is our second confirmed jukebox musical, but a very different jukebox musical. This is opening November 19th, Swept Away, the Avett Brothers jukebox musical with Avett Brothers Music.
We've been talking about this show.
It's happening. It's happening.
So long.
It's happening. Directed by Michael Mayer. It has a principal cast of 4. I don't know if there's more people in it. I think it might just be the 4 of them. Wayne Duvall, Adrian Blake Ensko, John Gallagher Jr., Stark Sands. Stark Sands is growing his hair again. They performed at LC Fest. Did you see that?
I saw. But I also think that, so there was like another, okay, so there was a run pre-Anne Juliet, right? And then
yes. Berkeley Rep in 2022, and then he went straight into Anne Juliet here in Toronto.
But then there was another run.
Washington, D.C. in 2023, which I think he might have done after he left.
Yes, so he left Anne Juliet, Austin Scott came in, and then it was like, bye, Stark, and I'm like, he's going to do Swept Away. I feel it.
Yeah, I feel like this is a passion project. Project.
Yes, he's grown his hair twice for this passion project.
I know. I get the look for like a sailor, but I can't say it's my favorite look on you, Stark.
Yeah.
Personally. I don't know what else to say about that. So it's going to be at the Longacre Theatre, and most of the music is primarily from the Avett Brothers album Mignonette from 2004. There are some songs from other albums, but it is mostly that album. I also believe it's like, you know, a crisp 90 minutes, one act.
Is it giving Fisherman's Friends?
Oh God, not Fisherman's Friends. I don't think it's going to give Fisherman's Friends. I think it's going to be a little darker than that.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, no matter what, vocals will be served. So
vocals will be served.
That's important. John Gallagher Jr., Stark Sands, like, I did see the LC Fest performance. And it was good. I don't know. I know that I feel like this is more a you show than it's a me show.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think, I don't know, I think it's always nice when like an actor or a group of actors is like so passionate about a show that they literally see it all the way through. So I think it's like really probably rewarding for them that this is actually coming to Broadway after like trial and error. I also have to say, I really respect a 2 out of town tryout like situation.
No, they're developed.
You try something again when it doesn't work the way that you think it will in front of an audience for a second time, and you're like, you know what, this is better, this is ready to go. So I respect that.
No, for sure. There's some shows that here have had, let's say, 1 out of town or 1, let's say, off Broadway run, and some of these are opening cold on Broadway with no previous runs. We haven't gotten to that one yet, but I'm like, guys, maybe we need to get this in front of an audience.
Yeah.
Before we get it in front of the audience, if you will. Because unfortunately, Broadway is seen as kind of, you know, the last chance. Once something opens on Broadway, that is most people's kind of lasting impression of a show in terms of future productions of it, in terms of looking at reviews of it in the future. Like, the New York production and the Broadway productions are the ones that end up sticking the most. So I do think it should be carefully considered, like choosing when and how to open in New York and on Broadway in terms of timing, and in terms of how much development has gone into it. But we'll get there.
Yes. Okay. What's next?
Next, speaking of a show that had an out of town in Chicago this summer, Death Becomes Her, opening November 21st. This one is going to be the La Fontaine. I know, this is on a list.
This one pains me because there was rumors that this was potentially going to be like early fall. Here's the thing. So we're going to New York, again, irrelevant because it's past by the time that this episode comes, but we were in New York at the beginning of October. Last year we were in New York. It was Veterans Day weekend.
Mid-November.
So mid-November. We found last year that the fall lineup was like super thin and we were having a hard time finding like new shows to see. This year, like, guys.
I know November would have been really lit this year.
Not the same weekend. It would have had to be like late, like almost December. But like if you're going to New York for the holiday season, like there's a lot that's playing. So it's pretty exciting. This one hurts me though.
I know. This one looks really, really fun. Starring Megan Hilty and Jennifer Simard, who big fans of both of them. We got Christopher Sieber, who I'm a huge fan of. A company reunion for him and Jen Simard. Michelle Williams, which is so random to me. Music by Julia Madison and Noel Carey. Directed by Chris Catelli. So love that.
This is also a movie, right? It's like a fan.
It's based on a movie.
Classic.
It's based on a movie. Yes. And it just looks so much fun. What I will say about our trip to New York last year, we ended up going because we bought tickets to Merrily We Roll Along, on November 11th? Is that the day we saw it? My critique for us is that's a long weekend in the United States and it's not a long weekend in Canada. And I would try to avoid long weekends in the future, I think, because of ticket availability.
I would even say as much of like avoid Canadian long weekends as well, because a lot of Canadians head over to New York for Thanksgiving, Labor Day is Labor Day, but like the August long weekend, like a lot of Canadians are traveling to the New York area. So if you can like avoid like literally any long weekend, it's just like for the best.
Yeah, I really like when we saw Back to the Future, I think if we had seen it, if it was like the following weekend, I think we might have potentially got better tickets. Yeah.
Which might have actually changed your entire opinion.
No, I doubt it, but
it would have helped.
Maybe. And even, they had no tickets available for that evening. So I really think if it wasn't a long weekend, we could have potentially had a better ticket to that. There would have been more availability. For Here Lies Love, we might have potentially like gotten a floor seat, which we didn't end up getting.
Although there was there were not many people in that line, so I'm just not sure what was available. Like
but maybe people had pre-bought.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they knew they were going to be there.
It was also closing. So
no, for sure. Yeah, I just wonder. It's hard to tell. Yeah, it's hard to know. Sure. It's hard to know. But yeah, I think I would avoid a long weekend in the future. But in Canada, for us, that's not a long weekend, so it did not occur to us in any way when we were picking our dates.
Yes. But yeah, I have only heard good things out of the Chicago run. Again, it's like two powerhouse women at the forefront of this musical. I can't believe Megan Hilty's not doing Smash, but we'll get to you in a bit.
We will get to you.
But this would have this if we were going later in the year, this would have been like almost top of list for me.
I agree. So let me read a Variety headline. Here we go. Death Becomes Her review. Promising pre-Broadway musical makes for a campy improvement on the cult film. So, Variety. We love to. Let's see. Chicago Sun-Times. What are they going to say? We're just reading headlines here.
Well, when there's out-of-town tryouts to read headlines, it's helpful.
It's good. Death Becomes Her stage musical, a charming affair needing just a few wrinkles ironed out. Okay. That's
okay,
good.
Great. That's a good one. That's a good one.
We love to see it. And let's find one more. But
speaking of Chicago, not this season, but already announced for 2026 is The Queen of Versailles. That
was actually in Boston, so
never mind. I lied. We'll get to Boston later.
Here is Reader, Chicago's alternative nonprofit newsroom, doing it for the gays. Dead, but they say like gays like Gaze. Death Becomes Her is a delightfully campy romp. So
one of my coworkers saw it in Chicago and
really? What did they?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. So much fun. No, I can't wait.
Okay, what's next?
Okay, November's done. We're jumping to February opening. This next opening, I know, is Redwood, opening February 13th, 2025, starring Idina Menzel, directed by Tina Landau. This is one of two shows Tina Landau has this season. The other one is a revival. Music by Kate Diaz and Tina Landau. And it previously had a run this year in San Diego.
It was at La Jolla.
And it's going to the Nederlander Theater. What do we know about Redwood?
Literally nothing, except for the fact that because I saw Fly in La Jolla in 2020, I'm still on their email list, so I was given the poster. That's all I know.
That's good. That's good to know. We're going to read some headlines, as we love to do. It does
feel, though, that like this is potentially, like, again, like an Idina passion project.
For sure.
because to come back to Broadway in a musical, I think is like only a certain kind of show would get her to do that again. Like she's pretty comfy in TV movie world and also like on tour doing her own thing. So to come back for a run, like she's got to really love this, I think.
No, for sure. To develop a new musical is a really big time commitment. Mm-hmm. And it's a commitment like emotionally. So I think the bigger you are, the more famous you are, the older you get, the more you really consider whether you're willing to give that emotional commitment, that time commitment to something, and to like lend your name to develop something in this, because it has seemed like it's really been a passion project for her. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm really, really interested to see what she's decided to like lend her name and her star power to. Okay, here's a headline.
A synopsis?
Do we have a synopsis?
I'll look it up. Read the headline.
You look it up. Okay, here's a headline from the San Diego Union Tribune. Idina Menzel inhabits a magical world in La Jolla Playhouse's moving Redwood. The world premiere musical, co-conceived by Menzel and playwright-director Tina Landau, with a score by Kate Diaz, is a triumph of groundbreaking media design. Oh, wow. And now I'm paywall.
It says the show tells the story of Jessie, a woman who is inspired to go on a journey of self-discovery by losing herself within a redwood tree forest. Not gonna lie, I'm not interested.
Well, we'll see.
Sorry to Idina, but it's not really like pulling me in. Also, based on the pictures, I swear she's wearing the same sweater as she does in If Then. So
sounds like she's kind of like your everyman or your every woman, and then everything around her is maybe fantastical and magical. We'll see.
But like hoping for beautiful tree sets.
Yeah, it looks like it's a beautiful forest. It's giving Brigadoon to me.
Oh, Zach Pizer's in this.
Yeah, I saw that. That's fun. Love him.
Okay, great. Yeah. I don't know. It's fine. Welcome back.
Welcome back, Idina. Okay, next we have a musical that I literally think was announced coming to Broadway today. Opening March 19th. I was like adding it to my list. I was like, it's coming. Opening March 19th, 2025. It is Buena Vista Social Club. It's going to the Schoenfeld Theater. Can I tell you something funny? And this is not for you to know about this, the audience. We were stamping our Broadway Up Close passports this weekend, and I like miscounted my pages, and I accidentally stamped the Schoenfeld page, but I've never been to the Schoenfeld Theater. So I just have a stamp there, and I feel like I need to see something there as soon as possible so that I can correct this.
And I said, will it be this? And you said, honestly, probably not. Is this a jukebox?
Okay, so good question.
Because the Buena Vista Social Club is like an acclaimed group of Cuban musicians.
Yes, so I do think it's based on a specific album, so maybe it is a jukebox.
It's based on the 1997 Grammy-winning album Buena Vista Social Club with the acclaimed documentary that was released in 1999. And it's the same director that directed Fat Ham. The musical had its world premiere off-Broadway at the Atlantic Theater Company last December, and it will be opening in March.
Yeah, I'm because it's
giving jukebox to me. It's giving choreography by Justin Peck.
I know, that's really exciting to me. Justin Peck, Patricia Delgado, his beautiful wife.
It says the musical tells the story of the artist who recorded the original album. It's giving stereophonic. Like, we're really
maybe it is a jukebox, but for some reason, it's not giving jukebox in the way the other musicals.
Oh my god, it's giving the music team will be led by Tony Award winner David Yazbek.
No, I saw that.
Back to the podcast.
I know. I saw that was David Yazbek. No, it's an exciting team. It's a really exciting team. I think it's going to have a lot of energy. Probably, actor musicians, probably, people are going to be dancing in their seats, dancing in the aisles. It's going to have rhythm and energy, with David Yazbek involved, with, Justin Peck, Patricia Delgado involved. Like, I'm seeing the vision.
They have company members here, but I unfortunately don't recognize anybody.
No, I'm
reading the Deadline article. This legitimately came out this morning, 11 a.m. this morning on September 16th. So it was really perfect timing for today's report.
We're updated. No, I'm interested in what this will end up being, what this will end up looking like. For some reason, I didn't classify this as a jukebox, even though it is pre-existing music. because it seems almost like, I don't know, maybe this is like a classic jukebox, honestly, but it almost seems like not as the album a concept album, but because it's maybe just like one album, or...
But that's giving like Jagged Little Pill to me, you know? Like it's based basically off of like that one album, which is still a jukebox.
No, it's giving more maybe like, I guess, American Idiot than Jagged to me.
That's still a jukebox, though.
No, it is. I know. I don't know why it's not giving jukebox to me.
Well,
I don't know. Like, I don't think this is going to be Illinois, but I also wouldn't call Illinois jukebox.
No, but Illinois is also not like classic musical, right? There's like no dialogue, so it's a dance show.
No, I know. Yeah, no, I know. I don't know anything about this, which is why I'm like, well,
so we'll see. It's very interesting.
We'll find out.
Someone please tally how many times we both just said it's giving.
It's giving. It's giving season. Okay, next. This is one that I'm really excited about from when the Out of Town happened last year in Chicago, opening April 5th, 2025. It's Boop.
Boop. David Foster.
Boop. David Foster. Susan Birkenhead. Jerry Mitchell. This is at the Broadway.
Who's directing?
Jerry Mitchell.
Oh, Jerry Mitchell. And choreographing?
Yeah.
Yes, the curtain call videos that we saw were so fun. I'm obsessed with the dog. It's so good. It's giving, like, it's letting us into that, like, cartoon. I know, sorry, I had to stop myself. It's bringing us into that, like, cartoon world. I was like, that's not the right word for what I'm trying to say, but I was just in my head. It brings us into the cartoon world. All I could think about when I saw some of those first photos from Boop is, like, there used to be, I don't think it's still there, but someone correct me if I'm wrong, in Universal Studios in Florida, there used to be a Betty Boop, like, theme store, and that's kind of the vibe that I got. It's, like, very bright and fun and big costumes, great wigs. Like, it looks really good to me. It looks like a big classic musical that's not classic. Although Betty Boop is like a classic character, so maybe it is.
Yeah,
classic.
She is. I think they are playing into that kind of almost 1940s aesthetic, pinup aesthetic. So I'm really excited by this. It also does stars Jasmine Amy Rogers, but I'm going to kind of pass over her to talk about who it starred, and who I think it's going to star again, who we're really excited about. Everyone's favorite tech support, Eric Bergen.
Miss you.
miss you, Eric Bergen, being like, Judith Light, I'm calling you. Who was it Adrienne Warren in the bathtub, like, all night, and they could not get her audio to work, and they just kept going back and back.
Yes, but also, didn't Eric Bergen, like, am I making it up that he got, like, a special Tony Award?
Maybe.
Or something. I don't know. I feel like he was used for something, like, recently, like, in the Tony Awards, and I was like, well, of course Eric Bergen, because, like, he's so reliable. No, I think it's a great cast. It looks like a super big ensemble. I don't know. I think this will be an exciting one for the new year, for sure. I think a lot of people will be interested, and like, here we go again on some name recognition. People know who Betty Boop is. They will buy tickets because they know that name. So, I don't know. Very exciting. Where did you say it is?
It's going to be at the Broadhurst Theater. I've got some headlines to read for you if you would like.
Amazing. Wow, so many headlines.
This is from the Chicago Tribune Review. Boop the Musical opens in Chicago with a new Broadway star far from our cartoon. So, that's exciting. We've got Chicago Sun-Time. Gorgeous Boop builds a colorful, tuneful, graceful world for cartoon heroine. And finally, we've got Broadway-bound Boop, bolstered by invincible Jasmine Amy Rogers, Fuel from David Foster. I can't talk about Boop without being like, Boop! You know,
I also know absolutely nothing about Betty Boop, so...
Yes, so my experience with Betty Boop is really just seeing her. My former dance teacher loved Betty Boop and had a collection of little Betty Boop figurines all over the dance studio.
That's
like,
fun.
just everywhere in the dance studio. So that's really my Betty Boop. I've seen
her
on
t-shirts. The 2024 version of the Sunny Angels.
I know. Sunny Angel is the new Betty Boop. But yeah, so I have her as this, like, iconic image to me, but I don't know what she's supposed to sound like. I don't know who she surrounds herself with. So everything around her is really new to me.
Yeah, same.
But for me, what's iconic about her is that look, that hair, even that face. Mm-hmm. that pinup
it's fun.
aesthetic.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited about this. And finally, the show that we have confirmed, the original show we have confirmed that doesn't have a theater or a date yet.
But they're super active on Twitter.
They're here. It's Smash. And I don't know. I don't know what to think about Smash. I'm so nervous.
Here's the thing. I don't know if we've, like, actually fully talked about this, but, like, this is not what anybody asked for. We all asked for Bombshell the musical. We didn't ask for a musical version of the TV show Smash. That being said, I will be seeing this show because, as we all know, Smash is, like, a part of my personality.
I will be sad.
There was a staged workshop starring Robin Herder as Ivy, and I heard good things out of that. I've seen a couple videos that I'm impressed by. However, I don't think it's the same storyline. Like, I've heard that Karen is, like, not even in this, and
I've heard about the shocking ending of Act 1.
Yes, exactly. And that, like, I don't know that, like, Julia and Tom are a duo.
It's different people.
Yeah.
It's different writers.
It's, like, completely different. So I just don't really understand, like...
I wonder if there's a rights issue.
But then don't make Smash.
Well, I think they have the right to maybe the music, but they don't necessarily have rights. But they have the characters of, like, Ivy and Karen, so I actually don't really know at all.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I know that, like, a lot of buzz is happening currently, like, on the internet. Someone that we've talked about many times on this podcast, Ryan Bloomquist, who famously tweeted so much about Smash, is possibly part of the social media team. So I do think if they, like, market this correctly, it's going to be a smash. Again, like, I literally don't care if it's bad. I will be seeing this show. So
it does have, like, a built-in audience ready to go. So
100%. Like, you find new people every day that are like, have you watched the musical TV show Smash? And like, yes, how many times? Like,
of course.
We all have lived that experience. So
we know about Smash. And also, something to say, directed by Susan Stroman, who knows how to stage, you know, a big bombastic dance musical, which I'm hoping this is. Based on the music that we know. So I have faith in her being able to really pull this one out.
Again, I think the concept of, like, creating a show within a show can be fun. It just needs to be, like, properly executed. So, yeah. And then are we going to get hit list next season? Because
I hope. I will be sat for this. When? I don't know. In what theater? Don't know. But I'll be there.
I mean, it's like... What theater? Like, let's predict this, because to me, to do it the right way, I know it's not currently available, but to do it the right way, it is the Broadway theater.
Ooh, the Broadway theater. Do you think it'll be open by then? Unfortunately, I find that theater ugly.
I know, but it's so large, and I think it's just, like, iconic. Where did they do the, like, Tony Awards on Smash? What theater was that? I think it was the Broadway theater.
It might have been. Was it not the St. James or something?
Oh.
Was it the Velasco? I don't know. I'm just, like, naming random theaters now. I'm looking through to see things that might be closing.
I don't think Gatsby will be closing in the new year, but it could.
I know. Where's that? Well, the Schoenfeld is booked.
Oh, maybe the Imperial. Sorry to Water for Elephants, but maybe the Imperial.
I know. That would actually be a good fit, I think, the Imperial. Stereophonic is closing, but that's not a big enough theater.
The Outsiders is doing well. They'll be on.
Yeah, they'll be there for a bit. Where's Suffs? The Music Box. A bit small. Where's Tammy Faye? Tammy Faye's at the Palace if it doesn't make it. Tammy Faye doesn't make it. That's a good house for it, I think.
Here we are already predicting what show's going to close first.
What's open? Nothing else is really open. Everything has stuff. So,
yeah, I don't know.
We'll see. We will see.
What about the Lyceum? It's O'Mary's there right now.
O'Mary is there.
Oh, but I think it's
rumors that's going to extend.
No, but what about that other show that was supposed to be at the Lyceum and then it went to the West End and then it did a Fringe Fest? My Son's Queer something.
Oh, My Son's a Queer. Is that like the Rob Madge?
It was supposed to go to
show?
the Lyceum, and I thought they had like promised it back, but also never take that as anything.
No, that's the thing. I have heard rumors that Oh Mary is going to keep extending. And they're looking for like potential vacation covers for Cola Scola.
Right.
Because he's
I don't know.
the star.
We'll see. Okay, so that's the new musicals that we have so far. So
Confirmed.
Go through the revivals, starting with the one that we can't give you our review, but we will have seen it.
We hope. Opened on August 12th, and it's a limited run till November 30th. It is an Encore's transfer, Once Upon a Mattress.
That wasn't the one I was thinking of. That was first, because I forgot that this was already open.
Yeah, this is already happening. Starring Sutton Foster, Michael Urie, Anna Gasteyer, Nikki Renee Daniels, Will Chase, Daniel Breaker. It's a new book by Amy Sherman Palladino at the Hudson Theater. Once Upon a Mattress.
And based on the photos, it's looking like the same sort of staging as Into the Woods, with like the band on stage, like very
another
minimal.
Encore's transfer.
Yes. This show was like not selling very well. With, I guess, like name recognition of like Sutton Foster, I expected it to sell better. I do remember reading reviews from the Encore's production. People really did like it. Encore's has had like a lot of success transferring their shows to Broadway. Yeah. And this is fun. I've never seen Mattress. I am excited to see Mattress. Hopefully we'll have seen Mattress by this point. So I don't know. Like I think it's fun. Is it limited?
It is limited, November 30th.
Oh, okay. So smash.
Yeah.
The Hudson's too small.
The Hudson's way too small for this. Yeah, it opened for the first time on Broadway in 1959, Once Upon a Mattress. Wow. So, 65 years later, it's back on Broadway. And people have said it's so fun. I have some review headlines for you. Sutton Foster brings some bounce to Once Upon a Mattress. Here we go. Sutton Foster and Michael Urie reunite in the zany Once Upon a Mattress. Okay, that's not really a review. This one. Here we go from Variety. Once Upon a Mattress. Sutton Foster is an awkward fit in a musical that's not quite Broadway royalty. So wow, Variety. Okay.
I will say, no shade to Sutton, but like we are planning to see this at a Saturday matinee, and if Cara Lindsay is in, thrilled.
I honestly think Cara Lindsay is a really good fit for this. I'm not familiar with the show, but I just think in terms of maybe age appropriateness, like I loved Cara Lindsay when I saw her in Wicked. I thought she was such a perfect fit for Glinda and was able to really nail that, comedy.
She nails that comedy in Newsies too. Like she's very good. She has good comedic timing. She's
wonderful. And what I'll also say about Sutton, as someone who I've never seen perform on stage, but who I have watched many seasons of Younger on and have watched many a clip, sometimes I feel like she falls into like the same like shticks and like facial things that she's doing. Sweeney Todd. I love her. Yeah, like watch any clips that I saw of Sweeney Todd, I was like, why are we doing, me critiquing the show I didn't see, why are we doing the same, why are you bringing kind of the same comedic bits you do for every other show to this? Like, is this a fit?
I will say,
comedic bits a fit? I know you saw it.
The comedic bits did, like, out of context, I'd be like, this is crazy. But in context, it does really fit with the show. She also had, like, really good chemistry with Aaron Tveit, so, like...
Sure. Which is so funny because we find a chemistry vacuum, so we're fans. But, he's a bit of a chemistry vacuum on that.
I literally would see him in any show ever, but I don't know that I've seen him... You know what? His best chemistry was maybe with, like, Dove Cameron and Schmigadoon.
You know what I was going to say?
Oh, in Gossip Girl.
No. I was going to say Grease Live.
Oh, Grease Live. He was really good. Like, here's the thing. I'm a fan.
I'm a fan. But yeah, I do think he's just a bit of a, the sexual chemistry of a baked potato.
Yeah.
Remember that?
And that's how I feel. I mean, I don't know because we haven't seen this, but, like, that's the vibe I'm getting with him and JoJo currently at Moulin Rouge.
Well... but I think maybe that just might be Moulin Rouge. I wonder. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's an interesting question. So we'll see. I hope we get to see this while we're there. We're planning on rushing it, so not guaranteed, but I'm optimistic about this one. Same. Okay, next. We actually do have tickets for this one, so we will be seeing this in previews. Mm-hmm. opening October 20th, but we'll have already seen it by then. Sunset Boulevard. A transfer from the West End starring Miss Nicole Scherzinger.
This is the one that I was like referencing at the beginning that I'm like slightly worried about because of the like cabaret situation that happened on Broadway of people not liking cabaret once it transferred from the West End. And I'm worried that we might have the same situation here. Although, like, everything aside, I'm so excited to see this. And one of the most anticipated shows, I think, of the entire season.
For sure. It really, really hit, it seems, in the West End. People really thought that the Jamie Lloyd direction fit really well with this story and kind of the new direction that they took it in. Not even that new direction, but the directing choices that he made, like the commitment to his own style that he did here seemed to really fit with the storyline and the show. You know, the use of cameras works because, you know, she's a movie star, kind of like the darkness. The credits, yeah, work because she's a movie star, right? Like it's about movies, it's about Hollywood, it's about the movie industry. So those kind of stylistic choices that he seems to do in many shows, and people are like, I don't know if this works, seem to work on this one because it already fits that storyline. Like, it seems like a really good match of director and material. And also, you know, we haven't seen this, so really just commenting on media we've seen about this, but we've seen from it.
I've never seen Sunset Boulevard, so I have nothing to compare this to, which I feel I'm walking in the same way I walked into the 2020 West Side Story, with cameras galore. You know what I mean? Like, it's very, very different take than a classic, which I think we referenced a couple episodes back, but we've also heard that this is like a star-making performance for Nicole, who's already...
She's been trying to come to Broadway for years. She's a muse of Andrew Lloyd Webber. Like, I think, you know, she suits the vocal suit, what he writes really well. And I also think the idea of, you know, we're used to, let's say, like a Glenn Close in this role, who is obviously significantly older and is still playing Norma Desmond to this day. And so I do think it's interesting to have someone not only who is younger, but who portrays younger, like obviously, like, Glenn Close and Nicole Scherzinger occupy very different spaces in society, and kind of, you know, the way that Nicole Scherzinger, I think it's such an interesting casting for this, because the way that Nicole Scherzinger's career, like, never really took off in the way that I think she wanted or hoped.
Dolls.
I love the Pussycat Dolls. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, the way that Nicole Scherzinger
I feel like this
never became a star the way she probably wanted to be a star, or the way the potential that she had to be, I think adds like an extra layer to her casting and to this show that I'm like really excited to see.
Yeah, I don't think her career trajectory was like being a judge on all of these reality TV singing competitions.
You know what? I loved the sing-off. I love the Masked Singer.
I just don't think that's probably where
Dancing
she saw
with
herself.
the Stars winner, Nicole Scherzinger, okay?
Yeah, true. Very true.
With Derek Hough.
I can't wait. We will be doing a completely, obviously, dedicated episode to Sunset Boulevard once we see it. Should we watch the movie, too? We probably should.
I'm wondering. I think maybe
Not before, but, like, after.
Maybe after.
I don't want to see it before, because I really want to walk in, like, kind of completely blind to this. Yeah.
I also want to say something interesting about this. This is going to be at the St. James Theater. So they've got both an alternate and a standby for the role of Norma Desmond. So the alternate doing one performance a week is Mandy Gonzalez, who... you know, mixed feelings, but when she's on, like, vocally, she's there, so I'm hoping she's sounding good right now. And the standby is Caroline Bowman, who I know was, like, the Elsa on tour.
Yes. Yeah.
And she's done other things as well. So, super, super interested. Mm-hmm. We picked a Saturday night, hoping that, you know, in previews, so we're like, hoping. Nicole will be there. Yeah. We're pretty sure.
Okay, what's next?
Wow, the next revival in a pivot
turn.
In a really pivot turn. Elf the Musical opening November 17th.
That's not what I thought was next. But you know what? I will say, we'll never see this.
No, I don't care.
It was playing when Char and I were in New York. I think the same year that you and Al were in New York.
2018.
Gavin Lee was doing it.
Huh.
But I don't know if he was Elf. But who else would he be?
He must have. Was he not the Grinch? Isn't he the Grinch?
Oh, sorry, it was the Grinch. Yeah. I get the Christmas shows confused.
But I think
it's starring Gray Henson
at Madison Square Garden.
It was
it's starring Gray Henson.
Where's this?
So this is at the Marquee. The Marquee Theater.
I'll never see a show at the Marquee Theater.
Hate that. Here's the thing. I wrote this in my notes. Is this even eligible for anything?
Yeah, we're not sure,
what's
but
happening here?
I said to just put it there because it got the same kind of Instagram treatment as every other show that was opening this season. So
I don't know who's directing this. Probably nobody. Sorry, no disrespect to whoever is directing this.
Here's the thing. People will see this. It's great for holiday time.
No, it's a perfect holiday family show.
But that's really all I have to say about it. Congrats to Gray. Welcome back to Broadway.
Congrats to Gray Hansen. Okay, this one we're actually very excited for. Mm-hmm. Except when this comes out, we must know something about this, but right now we know nothing about this, and we're really like
guessing every day.
Opening December 19th with a cast of, it's a one-woman show, Gypsy, starring Audra McDonald.
This was another like kind of devastating moment for us after we like booked our tickets to Sunset Boulevard a few months later. There was all the rumors that Audra was doing Gypsy, and then when all of the postings went up like on she's reopening the Majestic Theater, like it's wild.
Her by herself.
Yeah, by herself, because nobody else has been featured in the cast. Again, as of time of record, literally 2 days ago, they had like a opening of the Majestic kind of situation where she sang a couple songs from Gypsy. No other cast members were there because nobody else is in this show. The like hot rumor, which we talked about the other day, is Joy Woods and Jordan Tyson coming from The Notebook to be in Gypsy, playing Louise and June.
I heard a rumor of Danny Burstein as Herbie.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I know that would be good, but
it's giving the same Norbert Leo Butz type, you know?
I know, it is giving that same type. And what I'm about to say is, if this cast has been announced before this episode comes out, Tara's going to insert a little announcement right here. As promised, I have some Gypsy casting information. This is no longer a one-woman Audra McDonald show. So we talked about in the episode that Danny Burstein could be Herbie, Joy Woods as Louise, Jordan Tyson as June. All of those were confirmed. There was like a social media headshot silhouette kind of game happening a la Little Shop of Horrors, but it became so predictable that it was like no longer fun to really play that game. That being said, this casting is so good. Nice to see Joy Woods and Jordan Tyson like reunite on this show. And I think it's going to be amazing. So if you can head to Gypsy, go see Gypsy with this fantastic cast. Now back to the episode. Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, we were trying to figure this out because also announced today the new replacements for the younger Allie and Noah in The Notebook, because Jordan Tyson and John Cardoza are leaving. The Notebook is closing in December, but Gypsy will be on by that point. So there's just a big question mark. It says like the marquee is Gypsy question mark right now, as far as I'm concerned. And I also want to point out, this is directed by George C. Wolfe. And by casting Audra McDonald as a Black woman, as Mama Rose, I really feel like, and with the casting notices that we've seen, like the casting breakdowns that we've seen go out, I feel like they have an opportunity to do some really, really interesting things with casting here and with directing.
It does seem like colorism will be a big like plot point in this musical, which I think is honestly genius for a 2024 like spin on this classic.
And like, you know, not even like an explanation or kind of highlighting why a mother, you know, elevates one daughter above another daughter.
I actually think it will, for some people, create like a pretty emotional
for sure. I really think it has an opportunity to like really like transcend. Already Gypsy, a stunning show. Audra, amazing. But yeah, I really think this has the opportunity to really like deepen the text in a way we haven't seen before on this biggest stage. So I'm excited.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. We got 3 more revivals, and then we've got, you know, some other things to talk about. Let's go. Next, opening April 6th, 2025, a limited run, The Last 5 Years. Not this.
Again, another person we were talking about the other day, Nick Jonas loves himself so much. And I also loved Nick Jonas, but not as much as Nick Jonas loves himself. And this is limited, yes?
It is limited. 14 weeks? Something like that?
I just am like kind of sad that the first time that The Last 5 Years is going to be on Broadway, it's featuring a Jonas Brother, is really my thoughts on this.
I do think it's so odd. Why is this going to Broadway at all? I think this is a perfect off-Broadway show. Why are we going to Broadway with this.
Don't
It's
get me
Rebecca
wrong.
Hudson.
I also love Adrienne
I love the show.
Warren.
Yeah.
I love the
love
show,
her.
love this music. I love Jason Robert Brown. I don't know about these two together. Like, I don't see it. Any of the promotional videos that they've put out, I just do not see it. If he has this horrible buzz cut, like, I really can't see it. So, I'd catch me in February being like, last 5 years.
Can we talk about the rumors of Joe Jonas doing the last 5 years?
Yeah, I don't know if did we talk about this? I feel like when this first
know.
came out, it was like around Tony time, but we'll bring it up again. The rumor was Joe Jonas and Ashley Park, and I'd rather see that.
I actually think, well, one, I think Ashley Park is super fun, interesting casting in her. I want her to come back to musicals. Like, let's leave Emily in Paris, Ashley.
They just
like,
got
let's
renewed
do a
for
musical.
season 5.
I know.
And someone
I've
said,
never
when
seen
does
a
Emily's
single
visa
episode.
expire?
I've never seen a single episode of Emily in Paris. Though I did see a headline today where they were like, is Emily in Paris good?
It's trash. As a watcher, it's trash. But it's a good turn off your brain TV show, so.
But yeah, Ashley Park, come back to musicals. I want to see you dance. I want to see you sing. Remember when she was supposed to do Thoroughly Modern Millie?
Yeah.
Thinking so many things. That would have been fun. And what was Nick supposed to do? Tick Tick Boom? Was that what he was?
That was
rumored to be
also
doing?
not right.
But then none
whatever
of this
that
ended up
was.
happening. So whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we'll see it, but like, we'll see it when we see it.
We'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes.
He's
how
looking for a
reviews
Tony
go.
nomination is what my thoughts are on this.
Yeah, I do appreciate that Nick does keep coming back to Broadway and bringing fans with him to come see things that maybe they wouldn't otherwise see. I think this is going to be a hot ticket in the spring. But yeah, I'm really just curious about so many choices of bringing this to Broadway and why this revival, why now, why.
I wonder if he's
why?
like putting
Why?
money into it.
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know either.
And JRB's always involved. He's always there.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
next. Next, we've got opening April 21st, 2025, Floyd Collins at the Vivian Beaumont.
So I've actually seen a production of Floyd Collins before. I saw the Sheridan production of Floyd Collins. I really can't tell you what that show's about other than like mining.
Yeah, so I believe he's in a mine. I think Floyd Collins was a real guy. Now, let me confirm that for us all. I'm just going to the...
We love a live fact check.
I know. Synopsis. So, Floyd Collins was a real guy. He was an American cave explorer. And so... It's based on his death in Cave City, Kentucky in the winter of 1925. So I believe he goes, this is really a bad synopsis, I believe he goes into the cave and tries to get out but can't, and then is revisited by memories and his life flashing before his eyes.
There's a very vivid moment that I remember from the Sheridan production that featured a balloon. So I feel like there's a fair or something. I also so sorry, Jared, if you're ever listening to this, but I think you were Floyd Collins. I just do not remember because I feel like I blocked the show out of my memory. It just having seen Dogfight the year before and this, it was a weak follow-up. Sorry, Sheridan.
Wow.
But I know a lot of people are obsessed with this score.
Big fans.
Yes. So happy for them. There's no casting announced for this yet, right?
No, I don't think so. Tina Landau and Adam Gettle met. Sorry, I'm just getting this here. They met at Yale University and decided to collaborate on a project together, and it was this project that they decided to work on. And Tina Landau is directing this again, so this is seems like a real big passion project for her.
This is one that, again, I find hard because once you get past those first, couple months of super fans, who's seeing this? Unless there's, a big star. Wasn't there a rumor that Jeremy Jordan was going to play Floyd Collins? That was Sweaty Oracle.
Oh, maybe. But that seems kind of... I don't know if that works.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a... I mean, what do I know?
Vivian Beaumont. So we're looking for prestigious crowd over here is what I feel.
Yeah. So I think there's subscribers of the Vivian Beaumont. But...
I don't know. If there's good casting, I think it could be interesting. But at this moment, I'm not interested at all.
Yeah, I'm very, very curious as to what they do here. It's also worth noting that both The Last 5 Years and Floyd Collins have never been on Broadway before, but we are classifying them as revivals under the Classics rule in the Tony Awards. And I think like a good rule of thumb for when to apply the Classics rule is, has this show been licensed before?
Right.
Have you been able to license this show? Have there been other productions of this show unrelated to the original creative team? Which is why something like, let's say, Here Lies Love last season, the Classics rule did not apply to. But something like Gutenberg last season, the Classics rule did apply to. Mm-hmm. So both of these, this will be their Broadway debut, but they will be in the revival category. Okay, we've got one more show, and this one I've got absolutely no information on, but we're talking about it. The Pirates of Penzance, opening April 24th, 2025. No casting. It's going to be at the Todd Haynes Theater, which I'm not sure which theater that is.
I feel like this has been a rumor for years. Like, years. Like, back to the Pal Joey rumor days, this has been a rumor.
I agree.
Is Ramin not in this? Are you sure there's no casting? Why am I, like, seeing in my head, like, Ramin and David Hyde Pierce? What are they doing that has a similar title?
Maybe it was the Pirates of Penzance. The thing about it, the problem is, I go to the Pirates of Penzance Wikipedia page, which is where I get all my research and information, and it brings me to the literal Pirates of Penzance opera page written in 1879, and I'm like, I cannot sift through this. I do not know what's happening here.
Okay, so I think what I'm looking at was in 2022, there was a concert on Broadway that was David Hyde Pierce, Ramin, and Lily Cooper. So,
okay, so
that's what I'm getting from that. But if there's no Broadway cast announced, then that's what that is. But I think I put those two together.
Yeah, it's possible. I really don't know.
Oh, no, Ramin to star in jazz-infused Pirates of Penzance on Broadway, April 2025.
Wow, Ramin, he's back.
You know what? I really store information and, like a squirrel, like, bring it out when necessary.
Bring it back. Okay, do we have a director?
This is from What's on Stage. It says, directed by Lee Silverman.
Love that.
Oh, I lied. He's doing Yellowface, which is why it says it's kicking off that season.
Okay.
Directed by, I don't know, it says new revival of Gilbert and Sullivan's Pirates of Penzance, starring Ramin as Pirate King, David Hyde Pierce, Scott Ellis, Warren Carlyle.
Yeah, I'm looking at this right now on Playbill.com. So interesting.
Wow, you know what? The Todd Haynes was formerly the American Airlines. That's
not
why.
The American Airlines. Okay, well, that a theater I've never been in, but a horrible, hideous location. Very ugly.
Yeah, it is bad. But yeah, it's interesting the things that Ramin will come back to Broadway for. So welcome back.
I know. Welcome back. We just saw you sing earlier this year, so I'm excited. And that closes out our confirmed musicals and revivals. We've got two things that I've put in other. One is a play and one is a review. And I've included them both because they have music. One is Romeo and Juliet, starring Rachel Zegler, and what's his name?
Kit Connor.
And the reason I have it is original music by Jack Antonoff. So excited about that. At Circle in the Square. And the other one I have is Stephen Sondheim's Old Friends, at the Samuel J. Friedman, which was in the West End in 2022. And
starring
I think
our
Leah,
buddy Jack Yarrow.
Yes, Jack Yarrow. I don't know if he's coming to Broadway.
I don't know
he
either,
wasn't in the West End. I do think Bernadette and Leah Salonga are supposed to be in it on Broadway, but I think the rest of the cast still to be determined.
Agree.
Okay. We've got some potential things that we think might come this season.
Yep.
And I'm going to start it off with a show that we have to bring up every year because it's tradition. Do you know what I'm going to speak on?
Sing Street.
Sing Street. One day Sing Street will make it to Broadway, and we, as the preeminent Sing Street podcast...
They better gift us tickets. They better have us at opening night. They better have us doing red carpet interviews.
We are going to be there. We're going to be like, we have had faith for literally the entirety of our podcast. It's been almost 6 years we've been doing this podcast, and we have been here for 6 years.
Yep.
Talking about Sing Street. In my list, it's like Sing Street lol, because I can't.
They did do another production. Like, there was another production that happened, like, kind of recently. It's like devastating that we didn't see it when we were in New York off Broadway, but like we could not get a ticket.
No,
it was so hard to get a ticket
like
for
on
that.
the lottery. Okay, next I'm going to bring up something that we already know is confirmed for next season. We briefly touched on it. Queen of Versailles. That's confirmed 2025, 2026, but I put it on the list anyway.
Yep.
Here we go. Next, Cats the Jellicle Ball just closed off Broadway. I thought it might extend again, but as rumors were getting stronger, it was getting a theater in the spring. We're assuming Circle in the Square.
Mm-hmm.
It did end up closing off Broadway. So
the thing about Circle really loved that one. Is that Romeo and Juliet is currently there, and it has extended like further 4 more weeks. I was reading that there's possibility that it could extend even further than that. It's just obviously, I'm assuming all of this is based on Rachel Zegler's schedule.
People's availability.
Snow White is coming out next year, so she's going to have to take time off for that. So
yeah, but like what's a week or 2 weeks, let's say,
100%, 100%. So I think it's how successful the like first half of the run will be, and then obviously like scheduling, but I think if they like were interested in extending, I would say that maybe that has first dibs, but you never know.
Yeah. For sure. I don't know. We've talked about this many times, but there need to be more versatile spaces on Broadway because we can't have all shows fighting over Circle in the Square.
Well, but then you do something like August Wilson and you rip out the seats and you create the Kit Kat Club. So like maybe we should be doing more of that.
I just think the budget on that is so
I know, it's crazy.
Big.
So
you know?
Let's make a new theater. Who do we call?
Yeah, I think we just need more flexible spaces. Anyway, okay, next, here's one I don't think we're going to be seeing this season, but I have to add it because we saw it. Gatsby: An American Myth. Because The Great Gatsby is currently running on Broadway, and we have this other Gatsby, I don't know what's going on with this other Gatsby, because honestly, you've heard us talk about it, we loved it.
But also, like, not to get into this right now, but allegedly the entire creative team has changed.
Yeah.
Which to me sounds like it's now nowhere near ready for Broadway if they've completely changed a team. So,
which,
like, the rumor is the West End.
I know, the rumor is London next. I don't know. I'm really curious. And you know what? I'm gonna say I think it's good that they're not rushing because I've said before I think this Great Gatsby that's currently on Broadway really like rushed themselves to Broadway.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was saying about.
They're doing fine. Whatever. Good for them. It doesn't seem like Gatsby: An American Myth is rushing to Broadway, and it seems like they're being really considered about every production that they're putting on, and they're, really, taking this time to develop and protecting this creative process. I think that's what the Yonder Pouches were about. I think that's why we've only seen 4 pictures from the show. Like, they're really, like, treating this as a development period and not just being, like, a stop on the way to Broadway. Like, they're really working on this musical. So
and that's fine, but release the concept album.
No, I want that. I think the concept album would be really fun with like Florence and all her friends. I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does seem like they're looking to have like a true development process.
I agree with you. My fear is that it like loses momentum. That's the fear that I have. And that we never see another production after this. But they do have that Instagram handle, so
they do, Gatsby B-Way or B-Way Gatsby, whichever one it is. I do think it's possible that, like, the production we saw is the only time we ever see that cast, though.
Well, that's the other thing, too. Like, we were talking about the fact of, like, if it were to transfer in the 2025-2026 season, like, what is everybody doing? And then it's interesting to see that, like, last week or the week before, like, Soleil is doing Moulin Rouge now. Like, Ben Levi Ross is doing something else, and someone else is doing something else. So, like,
people are booking.
You can't pause your life because of a show. And especially, again, if there's been a whole, like, change up with the creative team, like, that to us means that this casting is like not set in stone if there's going to be new people working on a show. So I don't know. I'm thankful for what we saw, and
no, I am thankful for what we saw. And it is also what I would say is just, we let's say like follow the theater social media community, and we we're paying attention to what other people were saying about this show, and most people who saw it say it's not perfect, but it's in really, really good shape. It's in really, really good shape. And I think that's how we felt too, like not perfect but in really, really good shape. And for them to say still not quite good enough, good enough, like we got to make it better, like, you know what, love to see it.
Yeah, it's true.
Good enough is not enough. Let's keep climbing. So, I'm excited.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm happy we saw it. I'll follow it anywhere.
Yeah.
Can you hear it roar?
Yeah, we finally got something, but then it was taken down, but it's in my head.
No, it's like we got it back. Okay, here we go. Another one that was announced, it said it will be coming to Broadway in 2025. I don't know if that means this season or next season, but it was announced. It had a production in ART in 2023. Real Women Have Curves.
Never heard of this until this moment.
You've never heard of this movie?
No.
Okay, I've never seen it, but I know America Ferrera starred in it. It's about, like, Latina woman. That's really all I got for you.
Okay, thank you.
This is a headline from the New England Theater Geek. A delight. Real Women Have Curves, the musical. So, that's fun,
really
I
gave
guess.
Nothing.
It really did give nothing. Let's see, anything else? Okay. American Theater. The new Real Woman musical has curves, but how about complexity? This enduring mother-daughter story about undocumented Latina immigrants has been turned into a celebratory crowd pleaser for better or for worse. Okay, interesting.
All right.
So they're saying, it's fun, but where's the depth?
Yeah, which many things I could say that about.
So much, but that's okay. Oh, here's the Boston Globe. Yes, Real Women Have Curves, and the ART has a winner. So, that's fun.
All right.
Here we go. Okay. Next. Beaches. You brought this to my attention earlier today.
Okay, so I actually think this one might have a little bit of legs. I don't think it's going to come this season, but another, again, popular movie. It was it at the Citadel? Was I right on that? I know it was in Calgary.
It was at the Citadel.
So Jessica Voss.
Which has sent stuff to Broadway before.
Hadestown.
Six
had a tryout there. Yeah. Who was the other person? It was Jessica Voss and somebody.
Kelly Barrett.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's it's probably needs another workshop or two, but I heard it was decent.
The actual key, I think, on showing that this is Broadway bound, besides the cast, is the director, Lonnie Price.
Right.
That is showing me this is not just going to stay in, Alberta forever. This is going other places.
Yeah, I also think it's been in the works for a while. So, interesting.
Okay, I've got two more. I don't know if you have any more.
I have one more, but do your two.
Okay, the next one I have is The Devil Wears Prada. Are we still talking about this?
Oh my god, no. Goodbye. See you later, girl. You'll be on.
Okay. The last one I have is actually real. This last one I have is actually real and I think might happen. Just in Time, the Bobby Darin musical starring Jonathan Groff that is rumored to be at Circle in the Square in the spring. Another show at Circle.
I've not heard anything about this.
He did a workshop about this. Alex Timbers directed this reading, starring Jonathan Groff as Bobby Darin, a 1950s, 60s era singer who scored hits with Mac the Knife, Dream and Lover, Beyond the Sea. So he's very known. Splish Splash. There's no casting. There's nothing else about this. And yeah, the rumor that I've heard is Circle in the Square.
Interesting that Groff...
Rialto chatter. Keep going.
Well, I was going to say, interesting that Groff is doing a, jukebox. I feel like that's not really his style.
I agree, but I wonder if it's not necessarily jukebox, but I wonder if it's maybe a connection to, this specific artist. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rialto chatter is really just saying... Newly minted Tony Award winner will lead a stage reading of a new Broadway-aimed musical about the life of singer Bobby Darin. Reading of a show titled Just in Time, directed by Alex Timbers, blah, 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 his other shows, blah, blah, blah.
Actually, I have
Jonathan's
two, I
bio. But yeah, this is kind of what I've been seeing. It's saying, Broadway Journal, spring 2025.
All right.
Subscribe to Unlock. Okay, well, thanks. But yeah, I've been hearing rumblings about this one for a little bit. And I think this one might actually happen.
Okay.
So, there we go.
I have two more.
And I'm out of stuff to talk about.
I have two more. One is real, one is fake. The real one is one that we're hopefully seeing, but Empire Records is having its out-of-town tryout at Princeton. I don't think it's going to be this season, but I do see it possibly happening eventually.
Its handle is Empire Records Broadway. Like,
there you go. But I'm thinking 2025, 2026. I think they'll probably want to have, because like having it out of town where it's having it, it's obviously not like a huge theater space, so maybe they'll want to do it again for like a bigger audience, but you never know. And then my final one, which I don't know that we'll ever see the day, but I'll never forget the moment. It happened at the Golden Globes. The Amanda Seyfried, Thelma and Louise.
Right. That would be fun, though. I'm typing these just so we have record. That would be really fun if that actually did happen. Who was it? Her and Evan Rachel Wood? Was that real?
I don't even know, but she just said, like, I'm deep
She's
in the
deep
process
at work.
of
No, that
working
was like,
on
deep in the process
whatever.
of working on a musical. That was the time where a bunch of people didn't attend the Golden Globes.
Yes.
And
because everyone
they
was
had to
boycotting.
give people excuses. They had to give people excuses because it was the first one after the boycott. They had to give excuses because they wanted to make it seem like they weren't boycotting, and also that we didn't think they were unvaccinated. So it was like a real time where we had to be like, Kevin Costner is fighting wildfires in his home state. And you're like,
Amanda
okay.
Seyfried is deep working on
Deep
the
at
Broadway
work,
musical.
development of a new musical. You're like, okay.
Anyway,
What a
yeah,
time.
that's kind of where we're at right now. Again, Pal Joey is still on that list. So like
Not Pal Joey.
There's
Not
like
Pal
13
Joey.
going on 30 musical. There's that like Donna Fiore directed production of like the whatever it was, Family Vacation, or
Right.
like there's still a lot of stuff that's like always constantly in the works. Actually one. This is the final
A real
one.
one?
This was announced at D23 and it will be on the West End, but The Greatest Showman. So
Oh yeah, that's fake, in my opinion. That's a
had
Vegas show if
They
I
had
ever
a
heard one.
performance with Ryan Vasquez.
That's a Vegas show if I ever heard one.
Apparently,
Like-
it will be on the West End next year.
I don't believe. What about La La Land?
Well, yeah, La La Land, but remember the rumor was that La La Land was like waiting for Rachel Zegler to be ready, so I don't know. Hi, me again. I have to pop back in here because since we recorded this episode, there has been possibly a new potential show added to the list. This is a show we've been following for a long time, and it's Operation Mincemeat. It was playing in the West End, but the reason that I'm adding it into this episode is because since we recorded, there have been QR codes that have been like painted on the streets of 46th Street in Times Square that lead you to an Operation Mincemeat kind of puzzle. So the rumors are that it's possibly going to transfer from the West End to Broadway, going into the Golden Theater post Stereophonic, which is ending in January. This is not confirmed at all. I'm also recording this on September 28th, so things could change. But I thought it would be fun to keep the action going here and add another musical to the roster. Now really back to the episode. We could do this for hours. We could go back and forth for days. So we have to end it here. This is the this is where we're at for the like potential shows for next season and the confirmed shows. So that is our 2024-2025 New York season preview. The next time you'll hear us talk about these shows is when we do individual dedicated episodes, but of course in the new year when we do our Way Too Early Tony nominations. This is a stacked season for women, and I can't wait.
I know, it's
very exciting. And with that, it's now time for our obsession of the week.
Okay, my obsession, you're gonna laugh at me. I recently, for my birthday, took myself to a live podcast.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm gonna say a live podcast is a really fun thing to attend. Highly recommend. But the podcast I took myself to was Who Weekly, hosted by Lindsay Weber and Bobby Finger. And there is something, you know, they're comedians, they're writers, it's a fun podcast. I listen to it all the time, you know, when I'm working, when I'm, you know, cleaning, doing whatever I'm doing, I listen to it all the time. And I'm going to highlight that this past week, on a new episode, they discussed what they think happened between Molly Gordon and Ben Platt and Noah Galvin. Like, they went into it. And that brought me a lot of joy. And I said,
Molly Gordon was at the Emmys last night.
She was at the Emmys last night, so I saw her. Yeah, so what do we think happened? I don't know. They think one of them thought there's a feud, and one of them thought, you know what, Fashion Show in Venice is just better. Noel Galvin's wedding.
In the real world, I would agree with that, but not when those people are considered your best friends.
Yeah, I don't know. But just know that they do sometimes delve into Broadway gossip. They really were really invested in the Beanie Feldstein, Leah Michelle Funny Girl saga as well.
Yes.
So, as was I, because I've been listening to a lot of backlog as I fall in love with this podcast. And they did some really fun kind of theatrical things on their live tour. Their tour will probably be over by the time this episode comes out, but just know that Bobby Finger sang a Simlish version of Woman's World to close out the show here in Toronto. And I cried laughing. It was so funny. So amazing. There you are. Take yourself to a live podcast sometime. Go alone like I did, or with a friend. It's fun to see different types of live performance, and, experience kind of things with a different type of audience that maybe we're not always surrounded by. So that's my recommendation. Who Weekly, the podcast, as a regular, and also seeing different types of live shows like a live podcast like I did.
Love it.
Tara, what's your obsession?
Okay, my obsession this week, I actually think both of these people will be out of Little Shop of Horrors by the time this episode comes out. But I've talked about the band YouTube channel. I don't know exactly what they are, Third Reprise before. But I'm here to talk about them again. And this time it's for the Somewhere That's Green Little Shop funk cover featuring Sarah Hyland and Andrew Brett Feldman. Steph, when we're in New York, you know that there's a giant Audrey 2 in Times Square.
I do. We have to go visit it. We have to go see it.
We must visit.
We'll see it.
This is a really fun take on this song. It's the first time I've heard Sarah Hyland sing, I think. And she sounds really good. There is also, I'm not here to promote it, but a super high quality slime tutorial of Little Shop of Horrors featuring Sarah and Andrew. I always thought that, like, Andrew was maybe too young casting for this, but I think that he is, like, a really good, like, comedic actor. He has good timing. So I feel like for a role like Seymour, it's probably really fun.
I think he's really good casting for Seymour. He's, like, a perfect fit for that.
He's just a, like, teensy bit young, I think. But Sarah Hyland also, like, she's obviously older than him, but it's not giving, like, young. Tammy Blanchard and Andrew Brett Feldman. Like, it fits better,
no,
obviously.
That's crazy.
So, I don't know. I'm always excited to see what he does because I think he's, like, super talented, and I feel like he's going to write a musical one day, and we're going to be like, oh, remember that kid that won the Jimmy Awards?
Well, didn't you just see him in
I
a
did.
movie?
He was in Saturday Night. And I thought he was really good in that, too. A very, very small supporting role. But he's, like, constantly good in everything that he does. So I'm just, like, very impressed by him as a person. But yeah, this is my obsession this week, Summer That's Green. And as I said, that's our thoughts on the New York season preview. As I said, we will be releasing dedicated episodes for some of the shows that we see when we're in New York. So stay tuned for those. But in the meantime, you can subscribe to our podcast wherever you subscribe to podcasts. You can also watch us on YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe and leave us a comment.
And you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Off2BA Podcast with the number 2, and on TikTok at Off2Broadway, also with a number 2.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.